Let's do some more SQL coding today. This question was asked in an Amazon interview. In this question, they're asking, calculate the total revenue made per book, output the book ID and the total sales per book. In case there's a book that has never been sold, include it in your output with a value of 0. This question is a good question. We have two tables here, Amazon books and Amazon book order details. The first one here, let's see what's in that table. I think in this table we have all the books that Amazon has. No information about the order, but all the books that we have at Amazon, or just like a subset of those books. Let's run it. As you can see, we have the book ID, the book title, and the unit price. And as you can see, all that information is here too, the metadata of the book. In the second table here, we have Amazon books order details. Just by the name, we can tell like this contains the purchase details of those books. Again, order details ID, order ID, book ID, and quantity, right? This is an interesting field of quantity because we don't have this quantity field in the Amazon books, right? We just have the pricing. So we will have to somehow connect those two tables so we can multiply the price with the quantity, right? That will give us the sales of that book. So what they're asking here is they're asking us the total revenue made per book, right? So where is the books? Books is in this first table here. So I'm going to be starting from that table and I'm going to build my solution using that table. So let's do select star from Amazon books and let's run it. Okay, looks good. Let's include the book ID. Why is that? Because they're asking calculate the total revenue made per book, right? So I'm going to book ID. I'm going to include the unit price and let's run it. Okay, looks good. I don't have the quantity information here, like how many books were sold, for example, for the book ID B001. I don't have that information. How can I connect that information? I can connect that information from this other table here by doing a left join. Why the left join? The reason for the left join is it will give me all the records from the left table, which is the Amazon books table, and all the matching records from the second table, which is Amazon books order details table. Why the left join again is because I want to see all the books that I have from Amazon. Even if the book was not sold, I want to see that information with the value of 0. Okay, what does 0 mean? That the book was not sold. There's no quantity attached to it. That means it was not sold, right? And that book does not exist in this orders table. So enough of talking. I'm gonna give this first table an alias of A. I'm gonna give the second table an alias of B. Usually I try to keep it descriptive, but in this case let's just keep it A and B. So this is going to be A.book ID because that's coming from the first table, A.unit price, and we want quantity here from the second table. And okay, I forgot to do an on this left join on A dot. What's the common column between those two tables? Book ID and book ID, right? So on A dot book ID equals B dot book ID, and let's run it. As you can see, book ID, unit price, quantity, right? And then as you can see here, B001, this book here was purchased many times. We have multiple rows here. Unit price of 25, quantity here at this time was 2, at this time it was 1, and again 1. What I want to do here now is I want to aggregate all this information. So I want to do a sum on unit price, but before even the sum, I want to multiply this unit price with the quantity, right? 25 times 2 because it was purchased twice. So that'll be 50 plus 25 times 1, which is 25, which is 75, plus 25 times 1, which is what? 100. So let's do that aggregation. Whenever we do aggregation in SQL, we use group by, right? So let's do group by the book ID because I want to aggregate by books, right? And this here will be unit price times quantity, and let's do the sum of that after that. Okay, so and let's call this total revenue made per book. So total revenue. Okay, let's call it that. Group by book ID. Oh yeah, SPA.book ID. And there you have it. Now you can see, for example, this book ID B007 has a total revenue of 80. You might be seeing some missing things here, missing values here. Usually it's null, but how can we substitute 0? Because that's what they're asking in the question here. If you read, in case there is a book that has never been sold, which is this one, include it in your output with the value of 0. So how can you replace these missing values with some value that we give? In Postgres, we have something called coalesce. So you do that and you supply some value to it. It can be, let's say, 99999. Okay, and then if you run it, now you will have that missing value being replaced by that value. But in the question, they're asking just replace it with 0. Obviously that makes sense anyway, right? Much more readable. So run that and let's submit this, and there you have it. That's the right solution. So again, I started with the left table here. I chose Amazon Books as a left table because I want to see all the books, right? Then I'm attaching it with this second table here, the orders table here. But not every book is sold, right? Sometimes there are books that have never been sold, unfortunately, but I want to see the results of that in the output as well. That's why I use a left join, and I used coalesce here to substitute missing values with 0, because they were asking that in the question explicitly here.